Little Pinterest poses for fun ones. Slinking back, little torso action. I don't go that far back. Shoulder here. The shoulder's behind the back so you don't even see it. He kind of falls straight as well from the body, so you don't even see the curve that much. It kind of slips around. You got a coat on top as well, but you know, goes out here. Big old white t-shirt underneath. Pants are big and baggy, which is trendy now. Also more fun to draw, I would say. Ankle kind of falls here. So draw a little bit. Here is up here. There we go. That was annoying. I don't like it being linked like that. Little beanie action. Well, I should not draw the line because it always looks kind of ass when you do. And then you got a little short forehead, like though. So. Nose comes in and the mouth starts from here. A little weird shape on the face, but it's a quick one. So we're just gonna. Actually, it's not that weird now that I add the eye. Maybe this little nose curve. This little nose curve is the problem. Works. It's kind of close, but it's not really there. Now this liquid, oh never mind, it's because it's low opacity, kind of messes with it, I think. No, because I was using smudge. Not bad. All right, fix it into place. That's pretty fine for our little first study, but I'm just gonna try to add shoes because I will be practicing those. I need to practice them more. It's a little ankle there. something like that. And then if you just kind of add the graphic shapes that come with shoes like these, then it usually starts looking like pretty fine. Or like a quick sketchy sketch. Let's take that out. The shape here. Something like that. Shoe is actually way too low. Whoa. It's not looking great. I swear shoes have to be like one of the hardest things to draw. For no good reason either. It's just an awkward little shape until you like go in and like define it better. Like up until the details, it just looks like a weird little block. So, you know, it always feels like you're doing it wrong whenever you're doing it. And if you kind of quit working it a little bit too early, then it's just gonna remain looking like ass. That's fine for now. I'm not gonna. Just make them a little thinner in the tone so they don't like they don't catch the attention that well. Then we just make everything else more striking, and the shoes will be fine. Here we got some knees connecting here, so you know you're just kind of draw more attention to that. And then there's some lines coming out from it, of course, but easy thing to kind of pull focus into. Like, hey, we got the whole knee here. Usually here where the hands get scrunched into the little band, it's gonna go crazy. These lines, they were probably in the fine place, but they were looking a little bit too curvy, so we're looking at, I got this little organic shape that just didn't look like it's part of anti-curves. Curves? Folds. easy to overthink pants, so usually just kind of whenever it starts looking awkward, just take a step back and it's fine. The t-shirt kind of extend out. We can give it a little lip there so it has a little bit more of a 3D feel. Same here, I'm just gonna give the hoodie a little rim. That is not in the reference, but you know, it's kind of gonna create a little 3D-ness. Little 3D-ness. Yeah, jackets generally have one as well. Make this like more mild. Just pulling in a little bit. Show a little bit of the bagginess. Do a little overlap there and just a little lip there. This is a pocket that's getting pushed. This is gonna go like a pretty steep shadow underneath. Something like that. Sleeves are pretty hard. I mean, it's easy to know where the folds are coming from, but still tricky to kind of put in place. Or they can be. Give it a nice bold little shape. As we like. Little double line because this is the edge of the coat. It's easier to identify that that's where it's happening, and then we can kind of pull that nice dark shadow here underneath to kind of show that this is, yeah, where the overlay is happening. You know, it's kind of turning into a little street fashion portrait in whatever, like 10-ish minutes. I think that's fine. Pretty happy with that. I mean, you know, first of the evening. Could have gone worse. Here is a little bit too high, for sure. Now there's gonna be a lot of things to fix if we get into it, but I keep it a doodle. That's all right for a first little thing. Just realized that I might not have like this might shit under like a category even. It is under art. Why does it look like I'm talking? I'm looking at the stream preview. I'm like, is my face wiggling that much, or is that just really delayed? Alrighty. I mean, that was pretty much it. We could do values, but I'm not gonna. But I should save this into my references. Although there's a million pictures like this, but you know, it's whatever. On this crazy pose. Maybe we'll work on the edges. Give the edges some extra love so that it kind of stands out. Pretty easy way to make a drawing look more intentional and striking is like if you got like a loose sketch, but then at the end you go and like give more contrast and like do like some confident outlines, get some confidence in there, and like just contrast is gonna add a lot to like Oh, this is a finished drawing, even though, you know, it's just a whatever kind of bullshit study, but it looks more like, okay. Look at that, bro. I basically did nothing, and it's like, okay, it kind of stands out now. And I'm just gonna add a little more edge to the rest of the big shapes. Just make the whole thing kind of feel more graphic. And also like here, for example, it's more like ambient occlusion shadow. Not really an edge, but you know, makes it look more like it's actually going into the pocket. This is the inner side of the jacket, even though that's not in the reference, it's not really dark like this, but I'm just gonna, that's gonna add to it, you know. No, fuck it, let's just, no, with the new lines, I started kind of feeling it, so I'm like, well, we could add some, like, shading. You know, like, why not? Let's just give the whole guy some more character here. This is gonna be a little bit lighter. Lighter little hatch job. And here as well, we could even be like, you know, make this whole area. Do some here and some contour here. It's gonna make it feel a little bit more 3D as well. Might be the way to do it, bro. That's not bad. It's not a bad idea at all. I mean, this is what I would have done next, but initially didn't intend to draw anymore on this specific guy, but you know, it's going fine, then let it go. Let it go. Here, you could, I feel like the instinct is to shade this way, but if you kind of want to make it a little, like, feel a little more 3D, you could do it like sideways, make some contour shading. So you can more kind of give more of a feeling of the shape. So you're just gonna try to get like an even value of gray still, but this is gonna, there's the knee kind of, so we can just, it's gonna give you more of a boxy, like 3D feel instead of the alternative. I mean, it's a pretty basic concept, but it's fun to talk about. Here I'm shading along because, you know, it's just it's the cast shadow from the t-shirt. Here we would have a cast shadow here, I think. Pretty much like, okay, let's think about it. Light's coming from this way. I mean, for sure this area at least. So if you want to kind of make it look like a cast shadow, then maybe this one would go against the 3D shape. And also it's going to be darker, but I'm just going to make it this way, you know? So this is just going to make it feel separate from the other shadows we're drawing. Like, okay, that's a cast shadow. Just gonna make sure it stays dark all the way up until the edge, because it wouldn't be really fading that much. Little cross hatching situation. Gonna give it like a flat look. That's like a pretty, yeah. Kind of went a little bit too far with it, so I'm just gonna tone it back. The joys of working on one layer, so you can do whatever. Just give you a new edge, so it looks more intentional. I'm not a fan of it, honestly. Maybe if, yeah, if it was like all the way like here, like just a slight little shadow. Hello, Artiokai. I hope that, I mean, I feel like I was thinking about it earlier and I think my delay might be crazy, so hopefully I can respond to stuff in a timely manner. If not, I'll figure out a different solution. Anyway, enough of that drawing. But how you doing? Let's pop that in there with the baddies. You might as well be a little baddie, whatever. I'm chilling. It's my first stream. Thank you. This is my study file. All kinds of, you know, whatever. I mean, this is from multiple days. This is not from today. Just whatever I'm studying that day. But yeah, I figured I might as well stream. I might as well stream and be like, hey, if anyone wants to submit a picture for me to study, then why not? So I'm just drawing random people off Pinterest anyway. It's just a little hobby. Hobby on the side. Oh, I got a very difficult dynamic pose. So we'll see how this goes. Kind of out crazy enough where you could get away with, or it might turn out good because you could just exaggerate it without a worry about like, what if I mess it up? For reference, let's see if it shows through. Oh, it's so delayed. Maybe I'll just look at my OBS. Yeah, there it is. That is the pose. So it might be crazy enough where it turns out to be easy. It's a mental thing. Whenever I draw women, I have quite a bit of trouble, honestly, because I'm just like so precious about like with the likeness, and I don't want to make him look beautiful, and I want to make it look not, you know, like accurate. I don't want to draw him ugly. So it's a lot of effort, and honestly, the drawings turn out a little worse a lot of the time. But then when I'm drawing men, I'm like, I don't care because they wouldn't care, which is you know, a bit of a probably a little sexist way of thinking, but you know, it's just like they don't I don't even know this guy, you know, whatever. I can draw him however I want. And then I feel more free to exaggerate forms and stuff, and it turns out unsurprisingly, honestly, it turns out better. So that's a little tip. If you can make yourself just be a little less precious, you might just end up drawing better. The fist is here somewhere. To give reference for our back muscles here as well. They are more fun to draw like at the end, but I guess I enjoy looking at them more, you know, so it's more enjoyable, and I feel like badass women look cool as hell, so it is cool to draw them, but it feels a lot harder. Then when I'm drawing a guy face, I'm like, yeah, blocky shape, blocky shape, blocky shape, whatever, just exaggerate the chin, make him look either like a Disney character or just like a Chad, and it's all good. Being a little bit too precious about these back muscles, but I'll tweak them later. Shoulder here. And this shoulder also kind of comes down. This is a weird angle, bro. Maybe if I put the head in there just for reference for myself so I know what I'm doing. Should save this picture for future like actual use. How long? I mean, I've been kind of on and off switching art forms. I am a musician originally, and sometimes I would like Photoshop pictures a lot. That was in high school. Mind you, I'm 28 now. So in high school, I was really into like photoshopping and already like artistically creative and everything. But like straight up illustrating, I think it's been the past 3 years that I've been like proper doing it. But I did like study graphic design and everything, so depends on what do we count as art in this instance. Hey, I kind of see the pose coming through. It's very difficult. I'm starting to see it a little bit. Also, the ear helped a lot. I should have added a little chat command for my Instagram, but I guess it's linked below anyway, so it doesn't matter. We'll workshop it as it goes. This is just a little test stream. So I'm glad someone actually clicked in. I don't really see any of the face, but I know the nose would be like here, but it's kind of in shadow, so I'm just gonna add it a little bit there. Whatever. Sheesh. What a dynamic pose. Drawing like musical artists, it's so fun because they just have really energetic poses and pictures and shit. Like my cousin is in this metal band that is doing pretty well in Finland. Like it's very cool to see them like kind of blowing up a little bit. If you want to check out, they're called Saint Aurora, and I've drawn a lot of them. Like sometimes I post them and sometimes I draw it just for myself. But like a lot of the bandmates I've drawn many times just because their pictures are so full of energy and fun poses. This guy got a microphone in hand, so he's obviously some kind of musician as well. Or the wildest stand-up comic ever. Little ankle. How long have you been doing art though? I feel like kind of assuming from the name Art Yokai. Not gonna bother with the thingies too much, even though it is something I should study, but just go with the bare minimum, at least for now. It's kind of coming towards me, the microphone, so I'll just give you more. Never mind, it's actually not. I'm tripping. There we go, whatever. Dude, I'm starting to see it. a little double line here and there, so it kind of 20 years. Sheesh. Are you an old head or you been doing it ever since you were a kid? Because I'm like, I feel like I drew as a kid, but I don't really remember it, so I don't know if I could count that. Yeah, I feel you. Is drawing like your go-to? Dude, I feel that. I feel the art block. I used to do like music pretty much full time. Like it was my main thing. I wanted to be first I wanted to be a rock star and I was in many bands and later I wanted to be I was producing electronic music. And man, I was like I mean I'm not trying to trauma dump here, but I was depressed for a long time and then I didn't do any of my hobbies. And when I came back to it now I'm like happy and everything. I don't know no worries here. Um Music, it's been such a long time since I did it that it just feels awkward and hard and not fun. It feels not fun to suck at something that you feel like you used to be like pretty creative and good at. Like I get stuck, I just make like a little loop and I'm like, that's cool. So I've been dealing with a musical art block for years now, but luckily, thank God, I mean, at least I got into art and it turned out like into like a whole passion or like drawing rather. Okay, our little foot is put it. Oh, totally forgot. I was supposed to make for my stream. 'Cause this is the first one. Like I said, I was supposed to make like a little slideshow of my paintings on Instagram, so when people pop in, they can see like, oh, he actually does this, instead of being like, because sometimes my studies are kind of ass. So I wanted to kind of have like a proof of skill, so maybe they're more inclined to actually be interested in getting drawn, because that's kind of the point of this. It's like if people want to submit some pictures to draw, then hell yeah. I entirely forgot about it. I got the chat thing, I got the multi-chat between like YouTube and Twitch working, and I'm like, let's try, and I just hopped on that. So I'll do that next time. Is drawing like your go-to form of art though, or do you do other stuff still? I hope I am. I did. That's why how I set it up. Because honestly, I don't know which one is better. Like, is YouTube or Twitch better? And ultimately, just want people hopping in, like seeing it randomly and hopping in the chat briefly, and then going about their day after. So I'm like, whatever. If I can, with minimal effort, to make it work on both at the same time, then that's great. That's why there's the whole restream thing on the top corner, because it's like I'm using restream IO for that. What happens here? Okay. I'm seeing it. Yeah, it'd be like that. But then you get back into it or back into something else. You'll find something like drawing was for me, and you're like, oh shit. I mean, as long as at least for me, I mean, I'm not trying to be preaching here, but as long as I'm trying like new things and at least trying to get excited about things, that's that tends to be enough for me to kind of just be happy about it in life, even if like I'm not progressing on all of them and currently. But I got pretty bad ADHD, and I'm just kind of jumping from hobby to another. Except like drawing has been pretty steady. This shoe doesn't look right. Make it curve. Whoop. Yep. Feel like that. I've never been into drawing. That's one of the reasons I'm not really doing music is I'm not good at drawing or writing at all. And I would like to have some vocals or lyrics, you know, for it to be like meaningful and interesting. But no luck there, and so far I'm not like pursuing that, even though it would be cool. Oh my goodness, the shoe is so off. Maybe we can liquefy, see if something comes out of it. If we can kind of get the shape looking more the way, yeah. Or we'll just add a shadow underneath and do the same thing I did with the other shoes, whereas have the contrast be low. But this is kind of the focal point of the thing, so it's kind of hard. Yeah, you'd think. I feel like whenever I hear lyrics, they're like so basic and boring, and I'm like, you know, it's like, I love you, and you don't love me back, but I love you. You know, it's like brain dead simple, and people are all about it. But and when you actually try to sit down and do that, but be excited about it yourself, so it's a pain, bro. Haven't been able to figure it out. Is it just because there's like texture on the bottom of the shoe in the reference? Is that like the only thing kind of signifying the shape? Because if I'm just doing like an empty space, it's like it doesn't read like it's going backwards in space. I mean, that helped just a mini bit. I mean, yeah, good ones as well. That would be hard, but I feel like I'm already struggling to get passionate about even like shitty ones because I would be fine with shitty ones. At one point, I took like a poetry class because I was like, bro, if I can even write like two sentences that are interesting, I'm writing EDM, bro. Like if I have even like a couple of cool sentences, I could just loop them around, like make it a little drony, fun song. Just have some meaning in your shit, some point to why you're doing it. But that shit was hard, bro. Poetry? Like they were breaking down poems, and I was doing it in English, which is not my native language, so that might have been a mistake. Fuck this shoe, bro. Yeah, we're moving on from this shoe. We'll just do the rest of the pose and enjoy it, and then actually no, we'll do this. Just change the angle a little bit and have it cover the ankle there. That's probably gonna make it. Yeah, it's like whatever. It's close enough where it's like I could see that being a. Just kind of try to. Yeah, I was studying them like super recently. Um, they're right here, but you know, I was drawing like normal angles that you would actually see in a drawing, but then for some reason this is the angle I'm drawing right now, so I was not prepared for this. Try to give you more of this. We just kind of hint at the shape before we move on, and then up here is gonna, you know, just slightly do this because it's kind of moving up. And then we'll add some cross hatching this way so that it's even more evident. And then we'll move on and we don't touch it. We don't talk about the leg or the shoe. So let's go back to anatomy where we're more comfortable. Slightly. So there. And it goes into the elbow and then it moves here. Kind of going that way. Well, reference cuts off there, so will we. Dude, pretty happy with this though. Like the pose has the energy in it, like, and nobody ain't kind of gonna come here and be like, bro, you fucked up. We did good. So I'm just gonna add a couple lines here, little double lines, so it's kind of makes it look more like a softer shape. That's been I mean this is not like a crazy revelation, but it's been a big help in my art. But whenever I stopped, you know, because sometimes you're like, okay, this is the edge of this muscle and this is the edge of that muscle, and you're using like one line, it makes it look like a hard line between like two different surfaces, you know, like. But if you do a little double line, then it kind of it remains soft. Some artists use double lines a lot to just kind of signify some form, which I will try to do here for practice. I don't do it like consciously that much, but I end up doing it a lot. And obviously at the edge of like if you were to draw a box, if you instead of with single line you use double lines, that's gonna look like a bevel, and that's I guess the point of the whole thing. So you know. A little more muscular looking shape there. This I could like maybe do the like you can start the overlap with the single line, but then kind of transition into a double line there. And this is kind of tricky, but just to make the arm look like it's coming towards, we're just gonna have to do a couple of overlaps here, just so that it reads. I have a drawing monitor. It's like a Huion one. This app is Rebel Pro. You know, it's I don't think most people would go for it. Like, it's a great software. I personally I love just trying different software, and then I have like the flavor of the month. Like, oh, this is the one I'm really into now. But you know, Rebel is all about simulating like real life materials, which I can show you a really cool example if I just pick out a watercolor, draw a little watercolor there. You know, it just starts drying, and I'm actually gonna make it faster here. I can do a little different watercolor here, and they like blend together. So this is what Rebel is for, like simulating real life materials, and then you can just go ahead and dry the layer, and you know now it's dry and it's not gonna be bleeding. You could do all kinds of really cool stuff with Rebel. Some of the other stuff that's cool is like the oils. They have like actual normal maps on them. So I mean, it kind of I don't really mess with those that much, but some of them they're doing like straight up like creases. Maybe yeah. Oh, I'm using Express also. I'm like I kind of see it, but that was there we go. That was not the category for this. So you know you can paint like really realistic kind of stuff with Rebel, but I enjoy the pencils in it. Like my go-to tools. I mean, this is the little pencil I've been using the whole time. Pentel one. And then sometimes I'll draw with this little filbert. It doesn't really have that much creasing or anything, but I just like the blending. And the Express oil is my go-to coloring. If I just want to make like nice colors, so that's pretty much it. But you know, they got all kinds of really cool. Oh, one more thing that's cool. Like I like raving about software is what I like doing. But so I like testing new ones. But there's like metallic ones. They don't look that metallic when you like put it down, but you can change the layer to metallic. And then you get like a whole sheesh effect. And you can like not have the reflexivity lock so it moves with the canvas. Like, bro, who made up this shit? Who made this shit up? Who came up with this? So, you know, many tools for many types of artists, but mainly if you are just curious about looking very traditional. Actually, I think Rebel, I mean, if you are a PC user, Rebel right now might be like dirt cheap. I think they might be rolling out a new version like Rebel 8 in no time because I kept seeing shit where it's like the basic version is like $5 and then the pro version is $12 and I'm like, sheesh. I mean, I already have it, so I can't take advantage of that, but hey, the sales still exist. It's freaking practically free. But my assumption is that they're just pushing it out now while they can, because in just a second they're gonna have Rebel 8. And that's gonna be full price, and everyone's gonna have FOMO, like, oh no, I just bought the older one. You know, you gotta when it's a company, you gotta assume the worst. So I'm just assuming the worst. I'm not. I don't think they're just doing it out of goodwill. If they are, then no, shut up. This part of the arm is like super shaded, or maybe they have a little bit of farmer's tan going on in the reference, but like, or never mind. It is kind of turning inwards. I'll do a little slight shade on that. You know, you could do some shading here as well. It is kind of facing towards the camera, so it goes down. It go down. It do go down. Fingers I'm not gonna be messing with until one day when I feel ready. Something I generally avoid. Should be very light because this is just like the little lining on the side of the pant, but it kind of. Oh yeah, I mean Procreate is amazing. Supposedly, that's like the one drawing software in the world that I haven't tried because I'm not trying to buy a tablet whenever I have like a whole setup already. I would love to try it. My girlfriend has it, but we live very far apart, so I'm gonna have to wait for that. Do a little cool shadow here. That doesn't really matter, but there's a cool shadow of the cord, and then from the cord we do like wow. That's pretty much how it goes. But I should go over the line I just made. Let's start from that. It kind of goes behind the leg too. It's like really cool angle. And you gotta bear with me a little bit because I'm a pen smoothing hater. I feel like you're just handicapping yourself in the real world if you're always drawing with pen smoothing, so we don't got that shit on. Or natural or whatever. I mean, you know, no hate if someone is using it, but a slight hate, I suppose, actually. There we go. I mean, bro, I'm happy with that. He has like a whole. I wonder if I have like a nice, noisy, grainy texture to just give his head a little stubble. Spray. Uh, Tilt. I mean, it's very dependent on the tool as well. Like for instance, I used to use bro, these sparklies ain't getting smaller. I used to use Corel Painter, which is another like software for imitating like real life. And sorry, I lost in thought. And yeah, whenever you had a tool that is like great with tilt, it was amazing with tilt. But whenever it's kind of like, but it's also something that you just have to get used to before you can take full advantage of it. But it is really great, but very tool dependent. And honestly, most tools that you would need to just be able to draw and get into it, you don't need tilt anyway. So it's like a lot of people fall into the FOMO of buying like a thing that has tilt and it has to get tilt, and then ultimately I swear they don't end up using it. There's a lot of little traps in digital art. Like for instance, everyone wants to drawing a monitor or the tablet that has the biggest size on it, but I mean, I swear to God, you use just the smallest amount of the screen anyway. Oh yeah, I had that, but usually is I had the same problem, I swear, but usually is adjustable in the software. So if you were interested in like learning how the brush engines and shit work, that's a good opportunity. I mean, I enjoyed it personally. It's a good opportunity to go in there and be like, hey, let's see how this actually like works. So I, first of all, I know how to make these in the future for myself, but also you can usually limit it so that it doesn't go all the way to the widest setting. Like I got, actually, I don't have pen tool on this pen. Interesting. But yeah, I mean, I feel you for sure. That shit was annoying as hell until you get it like perfectly down. So yeah, tilt is amazing, but I also draw at a pretty steep angle. So if something is like very sensitive to the tilt, then it's just gonna end up messing with me for sure. Because it's like, bro, I'm not trying to draw like a. It feels like you have to draw like this to make sure this staying straight. Honestly, even though the reference has the shadow, but in this case, the shadow kind of fucked it. Let's hope we have enough undo states. Take it back, which I do. It's gonna have a little stylized version where it's just like a little cast, darker cast. Hatching. And the whole bottom. No, whatever. They don't really have the indications of it being like flash photography anywhere else anyway, so it doesn't matter. A little. Actually, no. Except as well. I'm just gonna keep it the way it is. Keep it a simple study. Spent too much time on this anyway. I was trying to make him quick, but you know, I mean, if you're having fun, editing and studying, go for it. And there's my pro tip of the day. I did it with this drawing, but I'm not sure if you were there, but you just add more confident lines to the edge, like just darken it with some bold lines, and you know, even just a little whatever bullshit sketch that I just did, it's gonna end up looking a lot more intentional and like, oh shit, okay, that guy meant to do this. So that's what I don't usually do it, but lately I've been doing it just a little bit because, you know, a little bit of a manga vibe also, which is not necessarily what I'm going for, but it does give that same sense. So if that's something that you want to get, just get a little more outline going. I'll leave it out of the shoe, so actually the shoe ends up taking less attention. Or alternatively, it might cause contrast where like now the shoe kind of sticks to the eye because you're like, oh, it doesn't have the outline. We'll see once I'm done. This is the eye kind of going in, whatever. Oh, we didn't spend that much time on it. It was pretty quick ultimately. A little thickening there. Indicate some shadow while we're at it. I actually like that little indication of shadow on the bottom right. So I'm just gonna take a little gander. Anywhere else I could do that. I mean, you could do a little double line here, make this look a little bit deeper because it's turning inwards, and this one has a little cast shadow, and this one has a little more ambient occlusion, and there we go. Dude, I'm happy with that. And here's the reference again. Well, we pretty much got there. A little exaggeration, but that's the name of the game. Be there with the baddies. The yeah, Rebel 7 Pro is what I'm using, but I don't know if you need Pro. But yeah, Rebel, they have pretty bad SEO. If you just type Rebel, you don't get much. But like Rebel Paint, Rebel Draw, something like that, then it's gonna come up. Or just Rebel 7 is gonna come up. A little sports pose, a little kind of pose. Also, if you find any cool pictures, feel free to hop on the Discord, which was like the initial plan. Just people sending pictures. Obviously, you know, I'm not assuming that that's gonna pick up anytime soon, but maybe once there's like more, if I do this more frequently, people start hopping on and kind of sending pictures to draw. I mean, I'll only do just a little bit of a study. I'm not, these are not like commissions or nothing crazy. Like whatever I'm doing here, or until I get bored of it myself. That's how long we're going. Side angle there. I'm just gonna just right into the body. Just make a little tube kind of. Center line is kind of in the middle, honestly, but yeah. And it's just a little bit of a hinge action happening here. Something like that. This is the other side of the pelvis, so that's pretty much where the butt is. Pretty good body shape. I'm getting better at that, which is the goal. Shoulder here, shoulder here. And it's like a volleyball picture, so they're kind of doing that weird thing there with their arms where it kind of goes the way it shouldn't. Looks off. So I feel like this is gonna be a hard thing to draw. Here's the reference. Whoa. So these arms, you know, because they're doing that extra bend. I feel like that's gonna be tricky. Tricky to get looking right. Thigh action here. Up it down. The wedge there. This leg. Straight side and then kind of rotates there, but it's pretty hard to signify properly. I mean, we'll see how we pull that off. Something like that. And then there's the booty. And then we do a little thigh action here. Raising as we go. This is above the ankle, but then the actual muscle goes above. Oh. So you pop up on the thing. If I ever get to like, if I ever get to doing some kind of roles or something there, I gotta give you some kind of extra VIP one just for being around before anyone else. Very, very small little ankle, but you know, we can keep it. We can call it stylization, you know, just make it a little dainty little ankle. I don't know how dainty I want to make a sports professional, but you know. Here we go. And shoulder. Oh. Should have guessed it was going to be hard. But I appreciate it, actually. After this, we'll try that one. And we're going to struggle. Not to be weird, which is something you should say right before you are gonna be weird. But is that some kind of kink? Because I feel like sometimes I see pictures like that and they're all like very similar, and I'm like, is that an art form or is that a kink? I mean, I'm fine with it regardless, but I'm just wondering. Just like, they almost got like lingerie on and they're underwater and they always got those big old masks. And I'm like, what's going on here? Is there a name for this? Yeah. I feel like I see, I mean, you know, not that it's inherently sexual in any way, but I'm just wondering because I see like very similar pictures often. So I'm like wondering, like, is this like some kind of a thing? Like, is there a name for it? What is this? If you catch my drift, like, I'm not trying to assume anything or point any fingers. Yeah, I mean, it looks very cool, dude. Honestly, I mean, whatever it's called, if it has a name, that would be a very good reference for anyone who wants to draw like magical girls, you know, or like cool like fantasy poses. That's gonna be so sick. I have a whole gallery of like cool pose stuff for if I ever need it. And maybe I should look up stuff like that for that because definitely has its use cases. Not that I'm very fantasy leaning, but I would like to be someday. Ooh, definitely seeing a little issue here. A little on the shoulder and everything looks nice. So I'm just gonna keep it, but whoop. Yeah, we're gonna just squish it because I was kind of getting rid of all the foreshortening. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I've seen very similar pictures and there's like a whole bunch. So I'm just like, was this just like a photo set or I mean, hey, it could have been that it just went viral or whatever the version of I feel like I saw it years ago, but could have just been very popular and they're like, let's cash in on this. Or it could be a weird subset of something, but you know, if it is a kink, I'd say it looks like a pretty tasteful one. Like there's nothing gross going on. You could show it to your family members and be like, I think this is cool, and you're like, yeah. We ain't about kink shaming here, but even if we were, I don't think this would be one worth shaming. Oh, this is like a little sock, so it's kind of bulge. Yeah. You're most likely true. But yeah, you're most likely correct, but I'm just like, you always gotta assume that people are getting to know good whenever you see anything unique. Hmm. How do we make this transition look like this? Maybe with shading, you can make it kind of like use this kind of like line to make it go, and then here you would use more direct line. But anyway, then the ankle kind of rotates this way. It's like flat against the floor. That's whatever. Here's the ankle. Here's the side of the shoe. A little front lid, and then it goes through and kind of comes towards the camera. So a bit of a shortening action there as well. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. We're not gonna try to get lost in the sneaker land today. I've done plenty of that recently, so I'm just gonna do a little appropriation of a shoe. That word feels like it's been stolen. Always makes me think of like cultural appropriation whenever I use it in any context. I'm like, oh, that's not what I meant. There we go. I mean, hey, that's fine enough. Let's have a little more curve to this leg. Kind of curve this up. And then just gonna try to go for a whole face, but just gonna do a little whoop. Center line. She has one of those jaw lines that kind of goes like, that's one of those looks like extra strong. Head is too high. It's kind of up here. She's leaning forward. And I should have done the structure of the face before I got to all this, but I mean, yeah, there we go. We'll just make a faces are a whole thing. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to make good ones. Maybe if I were making a commission or like a full piece for my Instagram, that's when I'm like, okay, let's think about the face. But if it's just for a study, I'll just try to put everything in place. She's kind of going, looking up here. Kind of looking up there as well. I mean, I'm fine with that kind of eye for now. And then you kind of nose go up before it goes down, and it looks a little bit more cute. Maybe a little. Like instead of doing this, you just go whoops, just slightly up. But sometimes it's really hard to do, especially when you're like drawing quick. You're trying to make like a nice smooth line. Very tricky to get that shape. Little dip here, and there's the lip, and I'm gonna just yes, her teeth showing, and then you have a little bottom lip here. That's fine for our use case here. Perfectly fine, and then and the cheekbones. Yeah. To the underwater picture. She kind of bops the ball here. Let's make the body a little wider. Ball is here. Good job, lady. You did great. We're not doing contours this time, so it's gonna look like flat shading. It's gonna give you more. I mean, the face is a little more anime style because it's like very simplified, so a little flat shading might just work here. The shirt is like here, and then you got whatever logo or number here, but I'm just gonna put it not put a number there at all. There we go. I'm just gonna again just give the corner or the edges some confidence so that it just looks like I actually intended to finish it here. And then we will move on to Underwater Struggle City. So that's what I'm gonna assume that it's gonna be. There it goes down here. It's whatever. Yeah, I like drawing people. There's a couple of clips on my Instagram where like animated. It's basically a Pinterest study where I then just added just a little context, like I can show it just a little bit. It doesn't matter. This line here and just this little chin here. Oh, I'm fine with that. Over to my Instagram. Make sure I'm not open the messages. The little Instagram. I got a couple of clips like this where it's just like she's nodding off, but this is just a Pinterest picture I saw that I drew, but then I made it into a little cell shaded little animation. And this one is super old, but this one I spent like a whole weekend on. We'll zoom in, use like 3D to make references for myself and all that, but other than that, it is pretty much all just portraits painted. Right, let's look at this water picture. Water. I'm pretty happy with this. Like, I've been doing okay this stream. I swear, it's the edge. If you just do the edges, it looks more intentional. It's like okay, good job. Okay, which girl are we gonna start from? Should I just try doing all three at once? That might be crazy, but honestly, that could be an exercise in stylizing. I'm just trying to get quicker. Like if I just make it a little bit smaller and put them next to each other, it's okay. I need to practice. I always draw like one person only, so I should like interactions. Stylization here. So this is one person. It's kind of going here. About here is where the next person starts. Planning it out. She's very bent. She's going this way. Gonna have to draw these real quick just to get a little reference. She goes there, and her arms go. Oh my goodness, that's a hard arm pose, but it's kind of going towards the camera, and then this one is going there. And then this is where the legs start, goes here. She's also very bent in the spine. We could try all three at once. It's gonna be I mean, already got like hard reference, so why not make it harder? Okay. But let's actually separate it to the other layer. A little bit bigger. Alrighty. So what would be my method here? I would wanna block out the torso. And just I guess the big shapes of everyone. The side of the rib cage. Just this way. That's a bit of a tube. Something like that. For that, and then the shoulder is like here-ish. And here. It goes down about this much. It's a big old. Like that. And this hand goes behind the head of the next gal. that. Alrighty. And this gal here. I mean, no, I shouldn't start from the head. It never works. Well, side poses always. I don't draw them enough. Whenever you're drawing like gestures, you kind of get like a dynamic pose. You don't just get a side pose. But it always surprises me how thin the rib cage is. Like honestly, you're just a little skinny ass tube. Like your average person, they're not. I mean, I'm not that skinny myself. Just a little skinny tube. And we got the shoulder. And this one is the tricky one, but the armor goes up here. I'm just gonna add a little wrist here to signify the direction is coming. Like, yeah, it's coming towards you. And the other shoulder you don't even see, you just see the back. Getting a little bit of this kind of action here. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Struggle City. That's what we're gonna do. A little bend at the knee, and this is already where I would do the big old fin. In this case, she goes up down here. Draw the thigh. Goes down more than what I initially draw. Just, or even if it didn't, it's good to just exaggerate the gesture. Put it down here. Put it down here. And it actually goes backwards in space, so that it's like a weird little something like that. And this is kind of a fun thing to draw about. Tricky. I think her head is actually lower. Over here. Help the other posts, like try to do gesture, but since there's also like this human interaction going on, it's a lot of measuring earlier than I would generally measure stuff. And then kind of bends earlier than that. I don't know, the ribcage is here and then it kind of goes in. Hopefully my little rambling on the top is like a little bit helpful. I find it helpful whenever I'm watching like anyone draw, whenever they're like explaining what they're seeing or what they're thinking. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. Oh no, did my shit freeze? Let's check my Twitch. Where are we at? No, it's fine. It's just my little preview window. I mean, on the restream IO where I streamed to both, I'm still like early on in the volleyball girl, so I'm like, oh no. But yeah, seems fine. There's nobody on YouTube right now anyway, so if that shit's frozen, then it's fine. Okay. And the last little body be around here. It sounds a little weird, but I have this pretty annoying for me habit of calling everything little. Like it's just like my go-to adjective that I just throw in into any sentence. Like, oh, I'm just gonna add a little line here, a little. Even recently, to my girlfriend, I was describing something big, and I said like little big this. Like, oh, just a little big mountain over there. It's just such a hard angle for me to draw. Yeah, exactly. Like I do that all the time, and it's annoying. Shoulder here, and then it goes swoop. I like that pretty much. Man, all this is subject to change. Could draw everything else in context, but okay. I like rotating my canvas because I feel like it's confusing to look at. Especially back in the day, I used to like record my time lapses in a different way. So every time I rotate my canvas, it makes it more headache inducing to watch the time lapse. But so for some reason, this little upwards angle is really hard to draw. It's like going against all my muscle memory instincts. Okay. The other arm is kind of just behind there. It doesn't even matter. Well, not all of them are as good as the next one, but I'll just start from one. I mean, I guess I could have just drawn one. I was like, if this becomes common, I need to add some kind of rule where it's cheating if your picture has like a whole bunch of people, but I guess it was my own fault for just deciding to draw them all. Like, I got all the control here and I decided to do it, so I don't think it's cheating. Just get the little thing in there. Now it's bothering me. I mentioned it, and now every time I say little, I'm gonna be annoyed. Generally, I don't think about it. Goes over. Put that back. Then there's a weird twist at the angle at the bottom. Goes in, and this kind of curves down as it does. I don't remember why. This is like maybe it's because there's a muscle that goes like down into the front, like under the knee. So there's like a little curve here. It be something like that. What that little shin looking? A little weird. Maybe just give the knee a little overlap so it goes over there and gives it just a bit more perspective. Yeah. A little stocking. Honestly though, without the stockings, this would have been a lot harder to draw because you know you get like clothing is such a cheat code because you get like a free reference for like how the contour of any shape goes. So even here, like I'm not even trying to draw the whole thing, but if I just get a little indication of like which way it's going, immediately just looks a lot better and just easier to draw it that way. So in general, whenever you're drawing people, you just want to find those, like find any contour, like real or made up, that you can put in there and like use as like a mental guide, if anything. There's nothing else. And it goes above the hip, and then it goes in, and then it goes up. There's here as well. I draw a lot of nude people, like from Croquis Cafe, for gesture drawing. I don't draw a lot of underwear wearing people. I would feel like that would help, because then I would get better at drawing this, like drawing like the pelvis where that happens, because then you would, you'd be good at drawing panties. So that might be something worth practicing. Cage. Kind of goes up from here because, the tummy is in the way. Kind of like that. These are your shoulder muscles, collarbone, goes into the other shoulder. And then we just erase a little bit so it's not like she looks mad ripped. Although a lot of those were defined. Then we have a little guide for our bra situation. Something like that. Goes over here. I think they're probably a little bit petite, but overall, but I'm just gonna accentuate it a little bit because it's gonna be easier. Easier to see problems, at least. Here's what I'm seeing right now. Even if like the belly button were here, still be, I feel like the torso is a little bit too long. Bear with me as I fact check my drawing. I feel like if I just straight up just grab the lower body here and just push it up a little bit, we're gonna get closer to the truth is out there. Even if you don't, it's fine. And this is just a study, but almost nicer to draw well than bad. A little better, but it's just I would need to signify the shape or the form here a little bit better. Rib cage comes down here, so the tummy is right there. It's hard to sometimes in like scenarios like this. It's hard to tell where the issue is. Like it straight up could be just the panty line being like a weird shape that makes the body look weird. Which it very well might be that as well, but just gonna go forth with full force. And he goes over here. Also, Rebel has this cool. Their canvas is not pixels; they got their own thing, so you can straight up go as close as you want it's called like NanoPixel. You need to enable it separately, but it's very cool to like, you can make like any picture into a NanoPixel if you just import it and look at it. So you can kind of get like, you can select the canvas, and they sell a lot more papers. I don't have any of the extra ones, but you can just buy like different textures and just use that as the NanoPixel on just straight up any photograph or your drawings. And it is a little cool thing, but pretty niche, not something that I'm like crazy involved with. If I had endless money, I would just buy all the paper textures and just mess around with them. Yes, and then we just add a little shadow onto some things right now just to get the form kind of showing through a little better so I can like see the issues. Like a whole cast shadow going on here and everything, but I'm not gonna do all of it. Just a little vibe check. What is this line even? Is it from? Is it? I mean to leave it there, or is it a relic of the past? It's kind of looking all right. I see it. Like the body. I guess I was the one who fixed it, but it feels like it fixed itself as I was just touching other stuff. You know, just giving more context. The form is like, oh, actually, it makes sense now. Just a little gap here. Right, this looks weird because the here and then something about the chest slash the. Oh, hello. No worries. I've just been struggling here with the body. It's getting there, but it's just feel like it requires a lot of context to the forms for them to read proper. I'm not trying to make her look like she has like massive honkers because she's pretty petite. Yeah, they are. I have a. I think I could maybe pull it off, but they're definitely at a hard angle. Just because they're like, well, actually curious about like what is your issue, and did you feel like is that what you're stuck on right now, or did you like figure out a solution for yourself? 'Cause I feel like I can maybe hack it together. I would imagine. I mean, I don't really know how like, what is the skill level we're talking about, but if you are more beginnery, then you know foreshortening is definitely. I mean, I know you have a lot of experience, but like skill wise, if you feel like more beginnery, then you know still the same thing. So you know, foreshortening is the killer. I like that though. If watching me draw it kind of got you drawing it as well. That's a that's a goal. Okay, I'll figure out the shading later, but it's pretty much how it goes. Or no, I need to put something for the head so it doesn't look so weird. The head is too high. Some people manage to do foreshortening in perspective pretty well with the little tube method or with tube method. Jesus. I'm not gonna be drawing these faces because there's 3 of them. But the easiest way to make sense of or actually just you know, go, I feel like you actually can make sense of it for yourself. Like you see it and you're like, yeah, I see it correctly. But then when you try to draw, you're like, how come I can't? Even though I see it correctly, how come I can't draw it correctly? I feel like thinking about the overlaps is the key there. I'll get to there in a second, and then I'll talk about it. And hopefully, I mean, I'm not a teacher by any means, but hopefully that I love looking up like new educational material about drawing and stuff just to get like a new perspective to a problem. And then it's like sometimes it's like, oh, that makes sense, and then you just kind of expand your toolkit from little random tidbits of information. Get our little lower lip and go on our merry way. Poor face in shadow so it doesn't take attention. Whatever. All right. So let's see. Oh yeah, and there are books like that, like drawing in perspective, or just it was something like that. And it's like they like calculate the camera angle and everything. And you know, it's like very helpful to learn initially. This is sugar-free soda, so don't judge me, by the way. It's very helpful to learn. So you have it in the back of your dome somewhere to like get an idea of how it works. But I mean, that's not how I would be drawing in general. That sounds awful. Okay, so let's get this gesture first, like feeling a little bit more correct. The arms need to be lower. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even fault them for it. It's kind of valid. And the thing is, I think a big cause of the issue is the TikTok, like the short little tips where it's like just draw it like this, like just you know instead of drawing a whole nose, just draw little things like this, and then you do your lip like this, and then they like learn this, and then as soon as the perspective changes a little bit, like they were not taught how to think about it. They were taught like one little hack for one little angle, and then they're fucked, but it's not their fault. How can you know how to learn something efficiently before you know how it works? And perspective especially, it's like something that you just have to draw a lot in perspective to actually be able to see it. And there's no real hack for that, so a lot of people looking for it are gonna just find something that sometimes works, and then they're like, I don't know, sometimes I draw well and sometimes I don't. Okay, so this hand, I feel like the mistake here that one could make is you could look at the little silhouette and then you just draw it like this. And then you just try getting to the wrist and it just starts looking off. But it doesn't look like it's coming your way, which it is. So generally you can do like the smallest things, and I do it all the time. The smallest things help. So instead of doing like full contour like tubes, you just work on your overlaps. So in this case, what you would look at is, because this forearm is coming towards the camera, so it's gonna go over whatever is here. So you just kind of overlap, just do the little slightest overlap. For instance, here, it's gonna sell the perspective a little more. I mean, you need to get the line looking right. And even here, you can do it. You can manage to do it in a subtle way, or you can exaggerate it. And that's gonna make you feel like, and then another big one obviously is here where the wrist happens, instead of just drawing the outline, you're like using a little bit of shading, but even just a line. Instead of just doing this, you could do like this. Make the wrist feel like it's coming towards you. And then especially, I mean, later once you add like shadows and stuff, it just like you need to indicate, you need to like, basically overlaps are the secret to anything. So the more you can like think about them and add them, even if you don't see it in the reference, but you're trying to make a simple line drawing, so you might just need that even if it's not there. And the viewer might need that to kind of make sense of it. So the more you can just add even made up overlaps, it's gonna make it feel like it's coming towards the camera. And just make something be behind it, and even if you could change the angle so that the butt was behind it and everything, and just any little overlap you can make happen is gonna sell it more. Like here, even want to do this on this and then add the other line behind it. That's gonna kind of sell the perspective of the whole backside of the body. You don't need to go that crazy. You could go here or do a little double line and just signify. Or I think actually there's another overlap that I missed initially, but here when the wrist does this little thing, and the straight tube form of the wrist is kind of going over it, and that's super slight. But instead of just drawing the straight outline, it's just gonna like add more to the perspective. But then also, just doing a little contour shading. And you can change the lighting as well. Like, because this is a pretty hard, like even whenever I looked at this first, it was like hard to tell. But if you were to just kind of play with the lighting, then you can obviously make it so that, like this shit is all in the shadow. It might not even look off if you just do it and shade the rest normally. It's kind of breaking the laws of physics. Then you make this like very clearly like in the light again. And straight like that. And there's a lot of ways to go about it and get like at least a decent And this other arm is behind. Make it go that way. And I'm just gonna accentuate the little overlap this way. I'm gonna make this hand overall just a lot smaller, so that it kind of sells to depth more. And you see the upper plane. It kind of works here, like this is facing towards you, so it's dark, so then when these do as well, it kind of goes to like reinforce that idea. So overall, you know, I had to actually act that shit out to figure it out, but hands are difficult though. I'm not gonna get a perfect look on the hand, but try to make it look more like the palm, so you know that's not the back of the hand. That like nails or something. Whatever. Hopefully you got something out of that, and hopefully your internet didn't die again, so I didn't just explain it to nobody. But even if I did, I mean, it's replayable. Oh, that could be fun. Maybe I'll add like a draw along channel to the Discord. So if anyone else is drawing as well, why not just post their shit there? Could be fun. Why not? Just pop that shit there. There's zero pressure to share. You know, could be cool, especially if at any point there's like more people there. So let's go a little bit. Watch you pull out some kind of masterpiece, and then I get humbled. I'm like, oh, sorry for trying to give advice. Yeah, that's the way I feel about it as well. I was recently I've been having this mini. Whenever me and my girlfriend were on the Discord hanging out together, we'll just kind of like take turns drawing a drawing, and then at the end of it or during it, we'll just narrating like how we're thinking about it, just to get like get into the other person's head, like how are they thinking about whenever they're drawing like gesture or something. It's been very fun. Kind helpful. I've learned some shit. My girlfriend is also a illustrator, more of a 3D artist, but definitely illustrates as well. And like when it's like a more cutesy style, she kicks my ass. Definitely, I can basically just draw people. She does like fan art and everything. This style was a little weird with all the little indents. I probably should have just ignored them for now and just add them later. These are a little bit too big. We gotta restart. So she's definitely smaller than the first lady. Something like that, and then these are actually way bigger. Oh, where are you from, by the way? Because you're out here in EU time, unless you're fiending. Just you're definitely not. I mean, it's like 4 a.m. in America. Yeah, I figured. Some parts, at some points in my life, I've definitely had like the worst sleep schedule. So I would have been on like a random art stream at like 5 a.m. Like, yeah, how's it going, bro? Let me just draw along. Fiending. Yeah, me too. The only reason I've been being pretty like productive during the day lately is because I've been hopped on the melatonin train, and it's been a huge difference, bro. Like the quality of sleep just better. So then I just feel like, hey, I might as well do something useful with my day, you know? So I end up like actually doing a lot more shit. So hey, shout out to melatonin. I was avoiding it for super long. I would thought I wouldn't be a fan. Do you also tend to start with Jester? As is the classic way, or do you go straight into trying to do construction with like blocks or something? Yeah. Just making sure I don't have like a secret Kim Jong Gi in the chat. Just going straight into like full drawing, like bro. Recently got the post about like his their anniversary of his death, and it's like, bro, how in the hell has it been like 2 years, 3 years, more? It's crazy. It's like it was very recent. I didn't know he had a daughter either, and or like child, and then posted had that shit, and I'm like, bro, sucks. Yeah, I mean, people say that, but I don't know how true that is actually. It's so hard to remember how you were perceiving something like time. I think it's just one of those things that is also like easy to tell yourself, like, man, years are getting faster. But it's like, I mean, that might be. Weirdly, this top bow pose is the hardest one for me. Struggling with, maybe I would just need to give it a little side plan so that it would make sense. But this one was the secret troublemaker. With the side plan, no. It's the torso just way long. Might be, yeah. Buying a combo of all three, I mean, ultimately it's fine. But if I'm looking at just that one, it's like, no, you're a failure as a man. here, and the side plane goes here, and maybe it is a little, still a pretty, the thick side. Not like a, then it goes whoop, a little bit forward, because that's the rib cage. It goes in like that. And just a little divot here. Didn't help that much. Sometimes it'd be like that. Okay, so the ear here. Definitely messed up some angles, but at this point I'm kind of leaning into it and just kind of trying to make it work. You know, used to be my biggest problem probably is that whenever I was drawing anything from like the internet, I was like so hell bent on copying it exactly. Just like, because, you know, I just wanted to get it right. But now if I know that the energy of the thing is correct, and then I see a little mistake like, oh, hold up, that line kind of shouldn't connect there because in the reference it doesn't. It's whatever. If it still reads, you know, this is your drawing anyway, not it already exists. But with people like trying to draw likeness, but then like trying to go for likeness, but also like stylized and not caring. Good luck. Got a bit of a better handle loading over time, but then even when I draw it a little stylized, or like my colors are like funky and everything, and it's fun. Whenever I'm like doing post processing on Photoshop afterwards, I tend to like make colors more like in the reference, like make them realistic again. It's like, no, we're doing so good, bro. Just stick with it. Actually, I'm just gonna make this this little whatever these petals are called. Go slightly behind that ankle. Spell that depth more. If I can without making it look like funky. Overlap our king. They're the king, they're the rulers of the land. I don't think anyone's gonna be mad at this. Like, I think I did my damnedest for such a tricky little pose. But for the hell of it, I'm gonna open that second layer and just throw in a little gray on all of them and just lighten it a little bit and see if just copying the lighting is gonna make it read a little better. you know, just a little rough pass on everything. Also, the silhouette might help me identify some of the weirdness, like why is some of it a little weird, but we'll see if I even care to figure it out. Oh, I should have just a little light background color as well, just to get like a so that the whites then kind of stand out better. I'm not gonna do a full value study, just a little bit for fun. There are no rules against having fun here. Alright, we'll take this and then turn it a little bit up, a little bit more so that it actually stands out from the background. Even more. There we go. There's a lot of balanced light in this. I definitely like also a very interesting light study. If one were to want to make one of this, you can feel like you could learn a lot about balanced light and everything. I feel like this lady might be the one that benefits the most about this little value thing. Or maybe she doesn't, and maybe we'll find all the issues with it. Yeah, no, that's fair. I feel like I got too interested in this. I mean, it's fine. No harm, no foul. If you want to send me on the little draw along channel, go for it. Basically made it just for you. Soften this. Make it deeper, but then soften it. There we go. Let's see. No. Just lighten this value a little bit. Yeah, that's really solid. Actually, it reminds me a lot about of how my girlfriend starts her drawings. Yeah, that's really solid. I'm kind of got a more of a, even though I've never really drawn pen and paper traditionally, but whenever I'm drawing digitally, I kind of got a more kind of approach. Yeah, that's awesome. I could see that turning into a really good drawing if you get the motivation to spend the time on it, like a good study. Yeah, that's normal, I'd say. Little little rib cage lines here, just make the anatomy kind of come through. Whoa. Just a tiny bit, like it's not like we're doing a whole anatomical drawing here, but just kind of give a little hint. See without the lines, how bad is it? Not that bad. Okay, I know I said I'm not gonna do like a full value study, but now I'm intrigued, you know? Like lights in a couple areas here. I'm just gonna do it like this and then just erase the outside. It's hard to get that small brush size here. Do that and then soften it and then erase the outside. Yeah. Thank you for the picture though. That was definitely a really fun one to study. Even though it struck fear in my heart at the start, I was like, of course. Of course, it wasn't just gonna be a normal portrait of them. Had to be something crazy. Okay. I just want to do a little bit of the bounce sliding below. Just maybe, just even like maybe ignore the reference a little bit and just kind of give a little hint of it here, like by ourselves. Just get that 3D shape. Try to think for, just try to use our own brain for once. Think where are we pointing downwards? A little, definitely here if the other fin, oh, fin is the word. I was using the word pedal the whole time. Fins. Just get a little that bounce sliding from below. Nice happy finish. I'm setting a bad precedent if someone hopped in right now and they're like, oh, you're putting that much effort into your whatever I ask you to draw. It's like, no. This one just ended up being fun. I mean, the whole point of it is like I'll draw whatever people ask if anyone has any requests or anything, but only as much as I would if I just decided to study it by myself, you know. So if it's a boring one, I'll doodle it and then move on. But if it's a fun one, then yeah, I'm gonna go for it. The light or make this look like the bounce light. Like if we use two colors here, this would be very easy to make look like a bounce light, and then it would kind of sell the foreshortening better as well. But no such luck. But yeah, I got no lofty dreams of becoming a streamer, but I was like, hey, I'm sitting here studying anyway, so like that could be a stream idea at least, like just like people request, and hey, if someone is like, I like that drawing, can you finish it? Then yeah, we can talk about a little commission that I'll actually do on my real free time. That's, not expecting that to happen too much. Used to do a lot of commissions on Fiverr or Fiverr or however you'd say that. Just painting people portraits. But obviously, with the age of the monstrous AI art or AI just generative bullshit, I would have to imagine like requests. I stopped doing them for other reasons for a while, but now I feel like even if I try getting back into that shit, probably not that many people requesting because you can just generate whatever you want. Isn't that fun? I'd say that's pretty solid. Let's try making those outlines confident again and see if we can call this a W. Yeah, Instagram used to be pretty solid. Like at least it went fine for me for a while, but now I mean, hey, it's pointless now. Not even the people who follow you see your shit. So yeah, I entirely feel you for sure. Nice little confident, nice confident outlines. A little overlap there because the pelvis is coming towards, and that's gonna make a little bit. If I was wild, then I could do a clipping layer and just color the line work wherever the highlight is hitting and make them white. And honestly, I might. Now that I said it out loud, I'm like, I've had worse ideas. I have worse ideas every day. These ones kind of sink into the depths. Maybe that could be a good little point to fade out. Just kind of let the fins meld in with the water a little bit. Oh, fucking 360 there. What kind of stuff do you draw though, in general? Sometimes the rotating thing goes haywire. Kind of forgot to put the gray here. I'm just gonna try to match the value with hatching a little bit. Okay. That's cool. Kind of want to get into a more of a imaginative vibe, but generally, like I like to. I would like to get more into like character design, even if it's still like a lot of my early drawings. If you scroll through my Instagram at any point, a lot of them used to be like street fashion photography and just studies of them, like stylized little semi-realistic drawings, and that's kind of the heart of my interest still. This kind of stuff like that. It would be fun to kind of just add even some little semblance of kind of your own ideas and your own world into that, even if it's still kind of more like street fashion type. Although it's a little bit of a played out idea, just take like urban street fashion stuff and make it into like a little bit, it's like soft fantasy. Like that's definitely like, Zenless Zone Zero and everything. That's just the most recent example I could think of. It's not even the only one or the most prevalent one. So probably not gonna blow anyone's minds with that kind of stuff if I ever lean that way, but it would be fun to draw that, which is I guess the most important part. This might be the first time I'm like fully. Yeah, I feel like I get that people fan art fan artists are built different. Josephine as well. I've never done fan art in my life. I was about to say. Um, yeah, I think this might be the first time I'm like showing a stranger my drawing from the beginning. Just from I feel like I have more confidence this past week or so, where I know that if I like put my head to it, put my head down, and then start drawing, it's gonna turn out fine. Even my time lapses on Instagram, always like I start recording once the sketch is already done, because I'm like, okay, now I know it's gonna turn out okay, so I can start recording. So this might be the first instance of me just straight up drawing from scratch and someone seeing it. Fuck, I had too much thickness on my pen here, it looks ass. Didn't realize until I zoomed out. Yeah, we'll go with that. Let's just try the, okay, we got the values. We can click those in. Yeah, I feel that. Luckily, I mean, as you can see, doing all right now. Okay, this is a clipping mask. I just wanna make my slightly. Let's go like all the way almost white, or all the way white, so that it shows. Yeah, fuck it. Just wherever the highlight is like super strong. There's a clipping layer so we can turn it down after anyway. Not a huge fan of it, but maybe if I just tone it down, just have a slight little lightening then. Gotta try sometimes. Just give it a little go. Even this I kinda wanna lighten. Yeah. Okay, so it's not that cool, but okay, I'll go a little overboard because I like it on the thigh there, and then I'll just erase softly wherever it's a little bit too bright. think we can call that a W, like, not that, I mean, not to be rude, but not that your opinion matters. Yeah, because it's just my drawing, but wouldn't you agree? I mean, it was your request that still, so maybe it matters a little bit. Can't stop fiddling with it, you know, just want to add extra depth here and there. But yeah, I've been practicing drawing the most recently because I'm pretty confident in my painting. I'm pretty good at painting, honestly. But drawing was always the issue where, and sometimes a good painting even got ruined by, oh, that was too much. A pretty good painting got ruined by just a lousy drawing beneath. So I was like, I need to get better at drawing. So that's why I've been drawing a shit ton. But for instance, like, what was here? There. Like recently I did these, especially this, and this was like, was it like 30 or 45 minutes? And I didn't have a sketch for this. Actually, I can show it. I have proof. Actually, oops, shouldn't do it that way because it's gonna open up my Instagram messages. Right here. I just started straight from painting. So painting, I can kind of like carve it in and out and just get it to a point where I like it. Uh, Drawing, it caused a lot of issues. But lately I've been feeling like more confident. Like, okay, I'm doing all right. This was all done with the same brush I used to color the values for the little mermaid ladies. So just a little squarey brush. Ooh. That was plenty. Even though it was just 4 drawings, but and it was almost 3 hours. So I think I'm gonna call it, but I would like to do these more, probably around the same time. Currently, I just finished like a longer job thing, so currently I'm not doing nothing during the day, so probably during the day around this time, roughly. I might be on, and I'll obviously pop a little message on the Discord. Hopefully, a couple more people join in. I mean, next time this was just a test. Next time I'll try and put a little notification on my Instagram, so if anyone cares for a drawing, they can pop in and shit. And you know, could be cool. But thanks for joining in. That was a lot of fun. And I think I drew better than normal. Usually, if I draw by myself, I get distracted and I just start watching YouTube. So this could be a pretty good habit for me to actually stay productive because just putting it here so I can take a screenshot for Instagram and be like, I painted these. But yeah, bye-bye and thank you. I appreciate you a lot. Oh my god, it's so dark here. Finland nighttime hitting during 4 p.m.